Welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with Daniel.
And Daniel.
And today we are doing another one of our top 8 debates. It's Friday! We're ready to do a debate. Just what everybody loves to tune into.
Debaters.
Well, we are very good at arguing with each other. Probably way too good at arguing with each other. Like, we were doing each other favors, just like, no joke, about an hour ago. We were both at a store that was having a big board game sale. And we were doing each other favors, and we were still arguing at some point.
Heck, we were just arguing right now because you hid a game from me that I wanted to buy because you wanted it instead.
Full disclosure, that's why I told you, because I knew you like sports ball, and it's a 1 to 2 player game, and I plan on you playing it with me. But
not only is it a sports ball game, it's my favorite sports ball.
Yes. And this is one that's actually been on my radar that I've been wanting to buy, and I always told myself, as soon as it goes on sale, I'm buying it. And sure enough, I did.
So for our viewers at home, because, Twitch is freezing a bit, it's bottom of the ninth.
Bottom of the ninth, yep. So, our top 8 debate today is top AEG games. Now, full disclosure, I am one of the vanguards. I do demos for AEG fairly often. I really appreciate the company. I've met John Zinzer. He's a really cool guy. A lot of the other guys, like Todd Rowland and a lot of the other people who work there, they're really nice people. I am going to take that bias out of it, as well as I've met a couple of the designers for some of these games as well, and they're really awesome. But we're going to debate just purely the games themselves. Let's go into what the seeding is. First off, we have our number 1 seed, Istanbul.
Versus our number 8 seed, Dice City.
Our number 2 seed, Space Base.
Versus our number 7 seed, Smash Up.
Our number 3 seed, Love Letter.
Versus our number 6 seed, Point Salad.
And our number 4 seed, Tiny Towns.
Versus our number 5 seed, Mystic Vale.
Cool. Bottom of the ninth is a great game. Canadian Collector, yes. I can't wait to play it, and then apparently mock Daniel for not playing it.
Because he's a jerk.
Even though I told you about the sale. Anyway, let's
So, before we fail to go through this, the debate, and do the rest of our stuff, yes, we both know that Love Letter is no longer an AEG property,
yes,
but it was printed at one point in time through AEG, so we do count it. Especially since we get all of our top 8 debate lists from Board Game Geek. And so if you go under the AEG games, it's listed under there.
Awesome. Video is better. Cool. It'll probably still cut out.
It's starting to clear up on mine too.
Fantastic. And also, just as clarification on how we came up with this top 8 debate, because if you go to AEG and their published games, and you rank them by or you put them in order by rank, these are not the top first 8 that come up. They're actually pretty close. But we also do have to have both played the game. So, for example, Santa Monica, I don't remember if it would be on the list or not. But
but it was climbing. It would have been on the list if we give it a couple more months.
Right, exactly. It definitely would have gotten on the list. But then also on the same vein, you haven't played Santa Monica where I have. And it was pretty good.
And the reason why we do that is this way we can give it a proper debate. We minimize it to at least one play as long as we're familiar with the way the game works.
Right. Exactly. So, do you have any honorable mentions for this list before we get into the debate itself?
I have 3.
As do I.
And so, I'm going to go ahead and start because my first one that I'm going to name isn't even out yet. But I'm highly interested in playing this. And it's because Wingspan has become one of my favorite board games of all time. And I really enjoy it. And the creator of that, Elizabeth Hardgrave, has a game coming out with the AEG later this year called Mariposa. And I want to play this so much. I've looked into it. Everything I've seen makes me really want it. I may even just go online and pre-order it from AEG right now.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to play it, and I've really enjoyed Wingspan. I've heard good things about Tussie Mussy. I want to try that one. But the thing what I'm liking about Elizabeth Hardgrave is that she's making these designs of really good games with themes on it that you wouldn't expect. Mariposa is about the monarch butterfly migration.
Yeah.
That is an interesting theme.
Yeah.
There's other butterfly games out there, but this is about that migration that everybody hears about.
I can't wait till we start like talking about games like, oh man, it's like everybody's making a butterfly migration game nowadays. Oh jeez, it's the newest zombie. I doubt that'll happen, but that's an interesting pick. My first one is a meta game. It came out in one of their Microbox games. It's called Preface.
Oh, okay.
Or Pretense. I'm sorry. Pretense is the name of it. And the idea is that everybody gets a hidden role, and you have like these abilities throughout the game, like objectives of what you're trying to do. Like you might try and have somebody hand you the rule book, or another person, you're trying to get somebody to sing a song or something to that effect. And this is a game that is played as a meta game throughout the entire game night. And at any point during the game night that somebody suspects you of being one of these roles, they can accuse you, and if they catch you, then they take your card from you, and then I think you're eliminated, or you get a new role, something to that effect. And then but if they're wrong, they give you yours, or they give you theirs, and then you become a new role. And so you're trying to continue these roles throughout the game night, and then whoever gets the most roles at the end of it becomes the overall winner. And it's just like a cool little idea of playing a game outside of like a game night setting. That's always been intriguing to me. So that was my first honorable mention, is Pretense.
All right, just so everybody at home watching, I am actually writing down our fan votes. This way we have everything ready to go based off our poll that we put up on the Board Game Revolution chat on our Facebook group.
On Facebook,
the Board Game Revolution.
Yeah, and then Canadian Collector, thank you for following. That always helps. Tell your friends. And
also, just so you know, there are no honorable mentions from the audience this time around.
Oh, wow. So our honorable mentions from the audience are ones that we leave the poll purposefully open, and other people tend to add ones in. That goes to show how good these games are.
Yeah, these actually have a lot of votes. It's really close. There's 1, 2, 3 games tied for third place.
Oh, wow.
And 2 games tied for 5th place, and only 1 game didn't get a single vote.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. All right, what's your next honorable mention?
So my next honorable mention is a game I actually own and enjoy. And
Novel idea?
Huh?
Novel idea.
So, but the problem with this is that I think it's going to end up being replaced, because if I ever play Santa Monica, kind of gives the same feel, slightly different. Santa Monica tends to be a little bit more gamey than what this one is. This is a little small card game that was originally printed, I think, in Korea or Japan. It's one of those little small Japanese. Walking in Burano.
Walking in Burano, yep. Yep.
And so I really enjoy it. I love the little tableau, or the little houses that you're building. I love that you're trying to get guests to go to a certain place. That's where you can get your points based off of what they see in your houses. Yeah. You got to be smart of how you put your houses up. It's got a pretty decent solo mechanism in it that I've been playing a bit, just because social distancing is a thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But okay. Yeah, no, I really enjoy Walking Burano. It's actually quite a beautiful game for such a small card game, too. And I mean, really when I talk about small cards, it's the small cards.
Yeah, they almost seem like they're smaller than average cards. It's like,
yeah, oof. It's like Euro style cards, but even then they feel a little smaller. Right.
All right, that's a good one. Mine is, my second honorable mention is probably one that I don't think you've ever seen. It is a Reiner Knizia game, and it has an expanding board. And I'm talking like the board is almost 6 feet long.
This is like your token Knizia game that you got to add to your list every time we play.
It seems that way. It's called Abandoned Ship, and the idea is there's a ship sinking, and there's a bug on my table that I'm killing real quick. All right, there's a ship sinking, and you are mice on the ship, and you have secret roles. Like, you don't know whose mice is whose, but the thing is, you're trying to make it to the top to escape and survive before everybody else. However, the ship is constantly sinking, so the water level is rising, and that's why the board telescopes. It's a really cool idea. The components are really bizarre, but I've always liked Abandoned Ship a lot. I've only gotten it to the table a few times, but I've owned it for probably 10 years, it seems. It's really cool. Yeah, it's definitely different because you have different colored dice, and they're not normal dice. Like, one will have, like, 11. One will have, like 0 on it. Like, it's so bizarre. Some will have negative numbers, even. So you roll them and you move the mice accordingly. It's really bizarre. So that was mine. Abandoned Ship.
My number one honorable mention that I have on my list is something that we both play. We've both only played one time. I don't think you cared much for it. I actually enjoyed it. I need to play more to see how I would feel for this. If it needs to be something that needs to be added to my collection. Our mutual friend actually owns it. And that is which is quite hilarious about what I'm about to say. It's the predecessor, but the pseudo-sequel-ish second in this line of Mystic Vale. And that's Edge of Darkness. This was actually a game he created before Mystic Vale.
Right.
But AEG is like, let's just do the card crafting and turn that into a game. And then let's see how that works. And then maybe we'll do this whole big epic strategy game that you got going on here. And I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It took a little bit. There is a massive learning curve with this game.
Yeah.
Because it took us, almost half the game for you and me to figure out what we were doing?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, at least.
Go ahead.
It was just confusing at first because I was already familiar with Mystic Vale and the other card crafting game, Custom Heroes. And this was a whole different beast. I thought it was going to be like Mystic Vale on a board. But I was completely wrong.
This to me is like, you know how we always talk about point salad, there's many different ways to get points? Mm-hmm. This game felt more to me like Mechanism Salad. It's like, this had the card crafting, salad. This had a push your luck aspect, you had the things you had to beat up, you had the worker placement because you can go in different locations. There was a lot going on, so there was a massive learning curve. I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it, but for me to make a good judgment on it, and even though it's in my honorable mentions, because it made that kind of impact when we played it, that's why I put it in my honorable mentions. But I need to play it more to see if it's something I need to own. I really enjoyed it, had fun with it, but again, it's a bit of a chore to learn, and there is a lot to going on. There's a lot of moving pieces where you have to remember what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. My number one honorable mention is a game that I wish I remembered 2 days ago when we were talking about Mancala mechanisms, and it uses the Mancala mechanisms. Do you know which one it is?
No, I can't think of it.
Planes.
Oh, yeah, I've not actually played that one. The only one I've played in the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles series that they had was Automobiles.
Automobiles, yeah. I liked the pool building of Automobiles. The Trains was okay. It was basically Dominion on a board. There wasn't much more to it than, in my opinion. But Planes was a Mancala game, and you were trying to get certain customers to certain planes, and you were trying to stop blockages from happening of too many people being there. It was just it was such a cool Mancala mitigation game that I think it flew under the radar. I think it's an awesome game that doesn't get enough love personally. So,
it's funny because we were talking about it. The one that gets the most love out of that is Automobiles, and I did enjoy Automobiles. It was on my short list for honorable mentions here. The only reason I didn't do it is because I wanted to talk about Mariposa because I'm really, really intrigued about that game.
Right. I mean, I had a whole list of games that I was thinking about putting on for shout-outs like Custom Heroes, War Chest, Lost Legacy, Santa Monica, of course. But I had to talk about some of the lesser-known games.
So the one game I owned that I recently sold, and I actually enjoyed the game, but it just a lot of people else didn't because they figured out how they can win easily, and that was Scorpius Raider.
Oh yeah.
And so I got rid of it. My wife didn't like it. Most of my game group didn't like it. I think our mutual friend Don was the only one that was okay with it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, that's fine. I'll just sell it. I didn't spend a lot of money on it anyways.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed it. It was another one that was on my short list. And it's just because I love the mechanism where you're moving the ships around that little thing, and you get to
Yeah.
take that action. So it's like a rondelle, but you have 3 different rondelles.
I
Which
liked
also
that
has a
part
little
of it.
timer
Yeah.
on it too.
Yeah, I liked the rondelles. That was the part that I liked about it. But there was so many ways that it restricted you to do it. Like it.
Yeah.
That's why you. Even though it was like, hey, you have 3 rondelles that you can do whatever you want. It's like, but I'm so restricted. I can't do anything I want right now. That's how it always felt to me.
Yeah, and it's understandable. I enjoyed the game, but yeah, it's another one that was just on my short list.
Yeah, that works. All right, so then we are going to take a very quick break before we start our quarterfinals, just so we can reset the video. I need to run to the other room real quick, and then we'll be back in like a couple minutes. So hang out with us. Canadian Collector, if you're still there, you can always join in on the debate as well.
Yep.
And voice your opinion.
And while you're pausing it, I'll go ahead and explain the rules to Canadian Collector.
Okay. And then, so we'll be right back. Let me restart the video and hang with us tight.